Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March 16th. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, maybe some popcorn. Let's see what we're going to look at today. AMC, CRWD, RBLX, COST, IBM, Apple, NIO. We'll get into it. This is Patrick New trading with Prime. We're going to get straight into it. We're looking at a daily chart of AMC right now. And what I noticed, the very first thing that jumps off the screen at me right in my face is this perpetual buying, perpetual uptrend. We see higher highs, higher lows. The one thing to consider is this is a high up here. This is a lower high here. I do realize that this most recent high is higher than... Where'd my green one go? Where's the green one? Here we go. I do realize it's higher than this area right here. However, one thing to consider is that this can technically still be lower highs and lower lows. Just something to point out to you guys. One thing I do notice is that if price can find itself getting above yesterday's high, which is Monday's high, if for any reason price gets above Monday's high, I think we can begin targeting this upper end of the breakdown candle. The high of that is around 1725, but we could just probably call it, let's just say 1597 all the way on up to 1698. I know it's quite the wide range. And if you guys want to diamond hands this bad boy, maybe just set a stop loss just below yesterday's low and just see what kind of movement we get in here, because price can always do this, right? It can always do this. In fact, it can come down below this as long as it closes the day above this green line here, which is price target or price area support 1182. As long as it stays closing above that price, then we will be in good shape. If we start closing below that price, it is no longer on the table. Just be careful. We could go down to Phyllis Gap at 1114 or even lower down here to 1005 support. So just keep in mind both of those areas. On a intraday time frame, what do we kind of see here? And I don't want to totally get into the intraday time frames because I want you guys to get a chance. I want this video to get uploaded and onto the platform. So higher highs, higher lows coming off the bottom here. You could just simply draw a trend line in here. It looks like intraday time frames though, it looks like a bear flag. We had highs up here, and since then market the price has sold off, and now we're consolidating just above the 20. We're riding the 20 period moving average on the hourly chart. So I would not be surprised to see a gap down in the morning, or a possible, maybe we'll come into tomorrow and then we'll drop down to this price area. But I would expect some sort of support down there around 12 bucks if that were to happen. Another way to look at this, because you kind of have two things going on. You also have a bull flag in here. So as long as price stays above today's low or above this $12 range, this bull flag can still be intact and playing out to the upside. Like I was saying, we can begin targeting this area up here, $16 or just above $16 all the way up to $18. That's AMC. CRWD. Crowd strike. Let's get it. Same kind of what I do notice on the lower time frames is bearish consolidation. The only reason why is because, well, for one, you have almost what looks like a head and shoulders pattern, and which may have already played out, but you have the left shoulders over here, you have the head, and it doesn't have to be so perfect, but then you have the right shoulder, and we did break the neckline. That could be a measured move, and the measured move I'm talking about is from the high to the neckline, and then from the neckline down to the low down here. That's one way of looking at it. This could also be bearish consolidation like you saw here, down move, bearish consolidation. One more way of looking at this is that this fell down to support. It was a back test of support, and now we are consolidating, making our way across the screen here, getting ready to break out. If we do break out above today's high, I would be targeting the high up here, and I would say price target around 224, maybe 223.75, somewhere in that area. That's the hourly chart. Let's look at the daily. Daily, we also the bearish consolidation is much more prevalent on the daily. We're below the two moving averages, 20 and the 50, and I would not be surprised to see this come on down to the 200. And the reason why I think this would be a good area down here, if you were waiting to go long, I would wait for 152.81. I know we're quite a ways away from that right now. We're about 20% away from that. So I would want to see more evidence. For me to be a buyer, I would wait to get above today's high, The second way I'd be a buyer is if price fell all the way back down here to support, which would be a prior breakout. And you also have some possible gap support down in this area if price found itself down there. If you are long in this trade and you're still holding this, if we can stay above 192, and if we can get above today's high, I'd be targeting, like I was saying, maybe around 220 area. That's CRWD. IBM. I'm going to try to rush through this. I like trading IBM on occasion. What I don't like are the gap downs. And so you have a gap down back here. You have a gap down back here. Every time it seems like it's doing pretty well, it then gaps down. It kind of reminds me of Intel a little bit. Anyway, you have the highs up here. It's having a really hard time getting above resistance. And sometimes what price likes to do other than gap down, sometimes price likes to gap above resistance. So let's say for hypothetically, and I have no idea, I'm just throwing this out there, but if we're coming into some sort of earnings, that's a possibility. Maybe this is the earnings run up. Let me know in the comment section under the video if you are or if you know anything about this, if they have earnings coming up. But just trade light as far as the gap downs go. That's why I would not go totally heavy into a name like this. Looking pretty bullish on the hourly time frame. It looks like this whole thing down here, the low of $90, I know that was quite a while ago, but you had this up move consolidation. It broke down a little bit, but it recovered, right? Broke down, but he keeps recovering. And you could almost look at this as a low, a higher low, a higher low. Let's see what happens. This by itself, by the way, guys, this pattern right here is bullish, not bearish. So I'd be leaning more to the bullish stance on that. As far as the time frame on this, there is no way for me to determine or discern or figure out if by, let's say hypothetically, you were holding contracts into Friday. I don't know just looking at this chart, other than I do know that these last 5 or 6 days is more bullish than bearish. But we have to keep in mind that we've ran 8% already in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. It might need a little bit more time to break out to the upside. Or maybe IBM is waiting for the Fed chair to go ahead and give the speech and get it out of the way before it makes the move. Apple, we did take a trade on this. By the way, if you guys are not in the Discord and you would like trade alerts, we posted this trade alert in the Discord yesterday. Well, not only that, we talked about it on stream on Sunday. So we had a 100% runner. I was gonna let them play out, but I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't like what the other markets were doing, so I closed this one. I also closed the QQQ trade. We also had a trailer on that. The link of the Discord is in the description of the video. Just look down below. Okay, so here's the deal. I didn't like what the markets were doing. The Qs were taken off, but without all the other markets. I don't like that. And we're up already in the trade. Let's get out of the way. Let's wait, give it a little bit of time. Maybe this will just be at resistance as it currently is. I do know that this is a reversal candle on the daily chart. And the question now becomes, is this a high, a lower high, a lower high? Is this now another lower high? Well, we won't know yet until the next few or several days. If we begin pushing above this area, which is this area back here, this resistance back here at 127.90 area, if we begin closing above that, then the lower high scenario would be off the table, and I'd be looking for higher prices. We could sell off for a couple days here and then start peeking our head up here, which would create a higher low, which would be more bullish than it is bearish. I don't like today's candle, and I want more evidence, and I want to follow the Qs and see what the Qs are doing. Intraday time frame, it looks like we are consolidating bullishly. And what do I mean bullishly? I was talking about all that bearish stuff a minute ago. Good support down here, high or low, and now we're bullish consolidation. If I had to do this, I could draw in some sort of price area. I'd be looking at this price area up here above 130, that's for sure. I would be eyeing 131.50, somewhere in there if it played out. So let's take a look at Apple in the next couple days. NIO, and there are some people in the trading group, shout out Duck, who know a lot more about NIO than I do, and we all know how bearish I've been on NIO and Tesla and a lot of the EV names. I will go long when it's appropriate. I will buy these bounces when it's appropriate. Like you saw, this was a gap support, but there are times that I stay away. Right now, same thing on the last chart we just saw on Apple. The question becomes, is this a high, a lower high, and is this a lower high? But just like we just saw on the last one on Apple, this is a low, a higher low, and this is bullish consolidation. all it's doing right now is it's just kind of trading sideways after a bullish move. Normally would result in a further bullish continuation move. And if I had to give a price target on this, and I don't know when this would be, this is hypothetical, 5203 on up here to 5581. Keep that 5581. You can see how in here it acted as support and resistance. It broke down out of this area. So overall, maybe what price wants to do before it does anything else, maybe it wants to run up and tag that area. If it trades sideways at that area, I would say hold on to the position because it maybe wants to go higher. If it doesn't and it gets rejected at that area, well, first of all, that area is a really good area. If I was a short trader and I wanted to short NIO, that's the area that I would probably want to do it in. All that being said, let's look at the daily. Daily looks bullish as far as this last move. We found some support down here at the 200 and it was a prior breakout area, and we are consolidating in a bullish fashion. So I would hold on to your shares or options depending on when they expire. Hold on to that. Let's see what kind of move we can get out of this. Maybe put your stop loss below today's low, and even then it can still come down here, right? So it's up to you whether you want to take a tight stop loss or a stop loss at all. RBLX, two more charts for you guys. We talked about Roblox this weekend. I like the bullish action, and what is Prime doing? Not to talk in the third person. What I am doing is still waiting, just patiently waiting. Let the other people be the heroes. Where do I think this is going? I have no idea, because there is not enough information on this chart. We could begin to try to create information. We do know we talked about on stream this weekend. What did we talk about? Can anybody remember? Put it in the comment section. What am I going to say before I say it? We talked about this pattern over the weekend, right? We talked about this. We even talked about, yeah. So here's the thing. Bullish consolidation. Now, I would have expected at the time that this would have broken out right there, but it didn't. It pulled back, traded sideways. It ran a test of halfway down some sort of retracement down this candle back here. And this candle by itself was a good buy signal, right, on the hourly time frame, on a little bit heavier than normal volume. Pretty good reversal candle, and created some sort of support in here, and we've since then rallied back above all three moving averages on the hourly time frame. For me personally, if I was in this name, it would probably be a long-term position, as far as I would not be selling anytime soon. But knowing where the market's at today, pushing all-time highs, and we continuously have the all-time high run up, I would either be holding this right now, or I'm going to wait for the market correction. I'm going to wait for 20% off. I'm going to wait for 10% off. If I did a drawdown of 10% in this name, it'd pull me back to support. To me, there's enough information on the chart right now to where if it did pull back to support, I would be, I mean, the market's dynamic, right? But I'd be eyeing an entry. I would really love $60.50, to be honest with you. I want to see this come back a little bit more. Give me a little bit more money out of this. But bigger picture, where do I think this company is going to be in 10, 15 years? $100, $150, $200 a share. So that's Roblox. Costco, last one. If I can type, I need somebody to type this in for me. Okay, last one. Here we go. We talked about this a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago. This is looking pretty ugly. I don't remember the price that we said we'd be willing to buy this at, but it did come down here and do a little bit of gap fill. You had gap support down in this area right here. And you did have that reversal candle a couple days ago on heavier than normal volume. The volume is this long gray bar here. You can't really see. In fact, let me just zoom in a little bit here for you guys. So this is the thing, though. You have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Is this going to be a lower high? We're coming up into some resistance right now. And so for me, this is not a stock that I would want to go long in just yet. I would still want a little bit of momentum, and not only momentum, I would want a little bit more time on this. Let it consolidate a little bit. Let it put in at least one other higher low, and then consider taking this to the long side. Because if you did go long right here, you're going to be running right into resistance at around 340, in my humble, sweet opinion. Let's go to the hourly time frame and see what we can see. Hourly time frame looks great, but the thing is now we have to discern whether this is a dead cat bounce, or is this the support and it's going to be on a multi-week or day run here. And I don't know what what time frame you're trading, and that makes a world of difference if you're just a day trader. I do see some higher lows in here on the hourly time frame. I even see a reversal type candle from the sell-off, and then you had a back test, and then it has since then starting to form this bullish consolidation. As long as price stays up in this area above 320, we're doing great. If we can get a breakout above this area, I would like to take a trade, but then again, looking back on that daily, this is the only concern is looking back on the daily. If we took a trade out of this, I think there's going to be resistance around 340. So it depends on what kind of trader you are, how severe, how aggressive you are. We could do something like this where we see a bullish consolidation, market symmetry. Let's say this is a good area up here. Oh, that's beautiful. It doesn't get cleaner than that, right? So if this does break out to the bullish side, you could try to get into a long trade, but I don't think it's going to just go right past 340 without being some sort of resistance right in this area, and then possibly another move up. Let's see what happens. Thank you guys. Like the video if you gained value. Feel free to subscribe if you are new here, or if you're not new here, same thing, hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next video.